Hi everyone, welcome to Fertile Soil Friday. Sometimes that's really hard for me to say. But hi everyone, I am so glad you're here. I'll give you a minute to grab your iced tea and take a bite of your sandwich. It's a good Friday and it's not too hot today. I don't think it is anyway. Humidity seems to be subsiding. It's a little noisy in the neighborhood. The neighbors are mowing and blowing and everything, so hopefully you'll be able to hear me. I think they're almost done. Today, I am here to help plant a little faith in you, give you some gardening information of some herbs in my garden and their connection to faith and all that good stuff. And the butterflies are flying around. Oh, so pretty today. Today we're going to be talking about a plant that is called Job's Tears. The botanical name for it is Koi lachrymochobi. And this plant is right here, right beside me in my garden. And it is in the grass family, which is Poaceae is the plant family. I like to look up all the botanical names and try to say them all the time. It helps me learn them, and it sounds kind of magical when you say their names. And I find this plant so cool and so interesting. And it was given to me several years ago. The seeds were given to me several years ago by a really good friend of mine that used to be in my herb group. And she's a wonderful lady. And she loves giving unusual plants and talking about unusual plants. And I'm so glad that she shared this with me because I really have fun with it. Now, Job's Tears is in the grass family, and I want to tell you it's pretty easy to grow. It gets about 3 foot tall, and it is an annual in our area. It is native to the Southeast Asia, and there it's grown as a perennial. So it will get seeds on it again, and the seeds are the main thing, the fruit of the plant. So here is Job's Tears, and I chose to do it now because I knew that it would be perfect at a great spot to talk about it today. Job's Tears like sun. When you plant it, you want to plant it by seed. And it takes almost 2 weeks for it to germinate. So when you plant your seed, you think, this is never going to come back up. But it does. And it gets tall, and it's good to plant it at a place where it's not quite in the wind because of the height that it gets, it will blow over, and then it doesn't look as nice, and it just kind of gets all flopped over. Job's Tears is also sold and known as Chinese pearl barley, if you ever heard of that. It's a grain. It's also a millet. I've heard it called Adelaide millet. And because it is sold as a grain, it is used very, very widely in Asia. So this is pretty much the wild variety. The wild variety of Job's Tears has a really, really extremely hard shell to it. Okay, so I can pinch this green seed, and it is so hard that I can't squash it, I can't bend it. Unless I get a little knife, then I probably could. So the wild variety of Job's tears, the outside of the shell is very, very hard. But there is another variety of Job's tears that is cultivated as a cereal crop and a grain. When you plant Job's tears, you want to plant it in, I'm going to say around April. And a good way, I told you, it takes like 2 weeks to germinate until you see the little green shoots coming up. If you soak these seeds in water for about 2 hours before you plant them, that will aid and quicken the germination. It helps soften that little shell on the outside. If you want to, I never do. I just plant them and keep it watered. Don't let it dry out. Keep that patch watered so that they come up. So, easy to grow, 3 foot tall, grown as an annual. Now let's get to the thick of things and hear the really fun thing about this plant. Well, the history goes back about 3,000 years. It has been found in vessels in China. They brewed beer with it, and they made an alcoholic beverage with it. So this has been found in those clay vessels that they made beer in, because it's a grain. That's basically why it was used to make a beer. And it was found in the 19th century, which isn't that long ago. But the really cool folklore about this, there's a bunch of different kinds of folklore, and there was a butterfly. In New England, they would string them, which I'll talk to you about, and put them over, make baby wear it when they're teething, and it says it helped ease the baby's teething pain. Isn't that something? Just wearing the beads around their neck. It's been found in India about 1,000 years ago. And the main uses for this wild variety is for beads. Beads and crafting. And the Cherokee Indians will use these and call them corn beads. And they use them in adornments for some of the oldest known musical instruments. And I'm sure you've seen these. Although this is one that I kind of threw together. Gourds with strings and like a netting of these beads on the outside that you shake. And that's one of the first and oldest known musical instruments, was Job's tears on the outside of a gourd, to hear them shake and rattle and roll. Job's tears, if you can hear them. The beautiful thing about Job's tears is they're naturally polished and shiny, and some are white, some are gray, some are light gray. There's different shades of the gray to them. The white ones you can dye, but I like them naturally, the color. The white ones are really neat, and the gray ones, and so easy to string because they have a natural hole in the seed. So you have the bottom of the seed and the top of the seed, and you're just going to take a real heavy needle, push it up through the center of the seed, and it does, really. That's what happens when you're live. It won't go through. Let's try another one. Oh, for real. I made this whole necklace that I have on. There we go. It went through, and very easily you can string them together and be creative. Louisiana history shows lots of rosaries in that area were made with Job's tears. Prayer beads, necklaces of all sorts. You can make bracelets, necklaces, and they're shiny and they feel like they were polished. You can mix it with other seeds and spices and make a really cool necklace. You can make garland with it. You can be very creative with these and just use them as beads. In Asia, they're used as a food. They are actually used as a cereal. And when they cook this grain, it produces, now this is the cultivated variety, not the wild variety. It actually, when they cook the grain, it leaves, the water that's left is a sweet water, and they make desserts with that, and they make beverages with it. I would love to taste it sometime. I have never. So, and it's used in folk medicine. I told you about wearing it around the baby's neck and to help with teething. So that was used a lot for that. It was distilled to make an alcoholic beverage and to make beer. Let's see here. The medical uses, which there are medical uses for this plant. And when they use it, they use the roots. This is a cool one that I pulled out of the ground because you can still see the original seed that it grew from in the roots. They use the stem and they use the seeds. All parts of this plant are used to make teas a lot. And it's invigorating to your spleen, eases arthritis, helps drain infections, helps with high cholesterol, helps with allergies. A tea drank is said to help with warts if you have warts. It's anti-inflammatory, sedative properties, and they are looking into it helping reduce tumor growth for cancers. So it is one that is still being more researched as we speak to be helpful medically. So I did say that it was used to make rosaries, or I'm sure it still is. I mean, you can sit here and you can make a bracelet, you can make a prayer bead. And as you can see as it's growing, let me see if I can find one here for you that has different levels of maturity of the seed. This is a great one. Some are green, there's a white one, there's one that's a little tannish. As they mature, the colors of the seeds change, and you'll know when they're ready to harvest. They just fall right off. They just fall right off the stem, and you can save them and use them to make a craft, save them to plant for next year, share them with your friends, because this is a really awesome plant, easy to grow, doesn't take a lot of room up in your garden, and it's fun discussion. It really is fun to talk about it because you don't see many people that have it in their gardens. Now, Job's Tears, the name Job's Tears, and I'm sorry, it's getting quite bright out here, so I'm squinting. But Job's Tears gets its name from Job in the Bible. Now, if you don't know this story, it's okay. I'll just tell you a little bit about this story. I mentioned it a little last week when we were talking about rosemary, but Job, this little story in the Bible, little story with packs a lot of punch. It's just this big. And this story is about this dude who was very wealthy. He was a very important man. He had 7 sons, he had 3 daughters, so he had 10 children. He had tons of livestock, camels, sheep, oxen. and he was wealthy. He shared everything he had. He was a good, upstanding man, and he had, now this was in the Old Testament, so um, his faith was so strong. He had really strong faith. Well, the story goes that the devil was like, and God were like having this little bet, you know. He said, well, you know, you think that Job is your number one fan, but I bet he can be broken and lose his faith. So what happens is, you know, God says, okay, see what you can do. And the only thing he said was, don't hurt him. So, you know, the bad dude, the devil, says, okay, I'm going to have fun with this. So what he did was, all his children died. He lost all his livestock. He lost all his wealth. And, you know, that's pretty sad when you lose your whole family. Didn't lose his wife. His wife was still around. It's funny. This story, I find it interesting that the wife is mentioned towards the beginning, but then she kind of gets lost somewhere in there. But he loses everything, but he did not lose his faith. Okay, he's holding on to that, and he never wavered with that. And then, you know, God and the devil had another discussion, and God said, no, you can't hurt him. He needs to live. But the devil says, well, you know, I think I can still break him. Well, he got leprosy. And he was in such a bad way. He shaved his head and, you know, did all that kind of stuff. And he suffered greatly. I mean, he suffered. He lost his family. He lost everything he owned. He had leprosy. Then he had 3 friends come. He had friends make fun of him. He just had a miserable time there for a while. Soon to lose his faith, but he never did. He did not. And in the end, at the end of the day, his faith prevailed, and he received his wealth back again. He had more kids, 10 kids again. He got his wealth back, but not right away. And you know, if you decide you wanted to check out this book in the Bible, the book of Job, I recommend reading just the first 2 little chapters, and then skip the middle, go right to the end, and read the end. So you have the beginning of the story and the end of the story. And in the middle there, they're more like speeches. They're more like his friends talking and having speeches. And what they're saying is not always what God is advocating for, but it's an easy read, short, makes you ponder. And I hope that you, no matter what your faith is in life, that you can understand that faith is really important to us in our lives, because here we are, we're talking about plants in our garden, we're talking about growing, and I don't care who you are, if you plant a seed or if you plant something in your garden, you have faith. You have faith and you have hope that that seed is going to sprout and going to grow. You're nurturing your plants just like you should be nurturing yourself, through health, through what you're eating, through exercise, through the love of your family, through being kind. There's just so much. And you know, however you choose to explain your faith, human beings have faith. And it's a beautiful thing, and it's something you never should let go of, and always keep. And don't let it waver, although sometimes it feels like it's going to. Smile, look at a friend, have them help you through. Keep that faith. one of the really fun folklores that I found out about Job's tears is if you carry 7 of these seeds in your pocket for 7 days and you say a prayer or make a wish, however you choose to say it, 7 days, then take them out of your pocket after 7 days, then wait another 7 days and your wish or your prayer will come true. That's folklore. I'm gonna try it. So we'll see if it works. I'll tell you if it works. Let's see. I think that I told you as much as I know about Job's tears. Now what I'd like to say is if anyone is interested in some of these Job's tears seeds, send me a message and I'll connect with you and get your address, or I'll see you in person depending on where you live, and I will be glad to mail you or give you and share some of these seeds so that you can plant next April and have fun with them. I have friends who make jewelry. I have a friend who makes prayer beads. They're just so nice to hold and to feel and to grow, just like we all should be growing in faith every day. I'm excited that I'm the Christian Ed Director at St. John's, if some of you didn't know that. And I'm excited to get started this year, even though we might not all meet in person. We are going to give it our best to share, do some faith formation with these children and adults, and might be some videos, might be some drive-bys, but we will prevail, and we're gonna keep on going. Sunday we have services at 10:15 at St. John's, on live and in person. Wear your mask, social distance, all that good stuff. So I think my garden is doing well. We're having some thunderstorms that's watering. I'm glad I don't have to get my hose out so often. Everything is growing very nicely, and I love August, except August brings the spiders. We have tons of spiders. I have to use a stick every time I walk on my front door to knock down the spider web so I don't walk into them. But as long as they stay outside, I'm all right. So let us end in a short little prayer here today, and I'll send you off on having a great weekend and feel some inspiration in your garden. Don't know what I'm going to do next week. I'll think about that. I didn't think that far ahead today. So Lord, help us rely on you when struggles come our way. Give us strength and peace as we make our daily choices. In your name, we all say amen. Have a great day. Go out, enjoy the weekend, and take care. And remember, the Bible starts in a garden. See ya.